You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, these questions are still from David. Do you believe in God?
Oh yes, I do. There's a lot of things that I wonder about, especially things in the Bible. I think there has to be a God to create human beings the way they are and all the other things.
Do you believe in karma?
I don't know much about karma. I'll have to talk to David about that.
You do believe in karma. Karma is basically like, you believe that if you treat people the way that they deserve, then they'll be treated properly, and bad things happen to bad people, good things happen to good people. You believe in that.
Oh yeah, so I didn't know really what karma was. Yes, I guess I do.
Mm-hmm. What is your passion?
What is my passion? I like being outside, doing something in good weather and medium weather. And I try to do that. I have all my life as much as I could. I like to read a good book. I like to I'd rather do things mostly by myself than I would with people. I can deal with myself better. From when I was young to now, it would be different. Now I don't, I'd rather be by myself more now. I guess that's all I can tell you. I read, I watch a little TV, but TV isn't much. I just like to know what's going on in the world. That's why I watch news and stuff, but I don't like TV much anymore. I just hope that I can read a few years more. I don't know how long I'll be able to read. That's going to be hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I have macular degeneration. And how blind I will be, I don't know. That's on my mind a lot. I have to go Tuesday for another injection in my eye, and I think I'm going to ask the doctor if he can tell me anything or how long I'll be able to read. I don't think he will, even if he knew, because most people are different. You can't tell what someone else. But I've done well so far. I mean, a lot of people just go a year or 2 years for treatments, and I've been 4 years, I think, about now that I've been getting the injections in my eye.
But aren't you blind in one eye?
Always have been, yeah. Yes.
Which eye?
The right one is the bad eye.
You were born with your right eye blind?
I was born with the, there's a name for it, but most people call it the lazy eye, which is, you're not completely blind. I can get around the room, you know, I can see objects, but that also has a macular, and it also has thing that people could, I can't think.
Cataracts?
Yes, cataract also has a cataract. This one had the cataract and they took it off. about 4 years ago, and I could see very well after that, but then the macular took over. But this side, they don't do anything because they know they can't help it. But I can still, which makes me happy. I could go around the room. I couldn't read. I couldn't do the oven. I couldn't see the letters on the oven. Like I said, I forget so many words I want to use. And they just won't come when you want them. You'll think of them 10 minutes later or maybe the next day, but that's the mind when you get 91 to do have that problem.
Okay, this will be the last question from David. Oh no, actually, he's got a lot.
Very long. You could skip one.
Well, I'm not going to ask you any more political questions because we know how you feel about that.
Yes, yes.
Do we all have to eat a peck of dirt before we die?
I told him yes because he's one of these that's very fussy about, like, he'll pick up a glass and they'll look at it to see if it's clean. Fussy like that, you know. And that's what I tell him when he does something like that. Tell him we got to eat a peck of dirt before we die. So I'm just enforcing that now.
Have you ever observed a full solar eclipse?
Yes, but I can't remember when. I have seen it when it's been dark as midnight, as they say.
What about Halley's Comet?
I can't remember. I remember we've had them, but I don't remember what it looked like or if I actually saw it. I don't know.
Where were you when JFK was shot?
It was home. It was a fall day, I believe, and the kids were still in school. It was in the afternoon before I heard about it. I know my neighbor called me. She had her TV on, I think. So, yes, I remember it very well. I remember David was 3 years old. He was at the stage where he was building blocks and things. I remember he made this real tall structure. And he said that's for him when it was on TV. So he knew then that it was something special, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think 9/11 has changed the USA and the world? How?
Would you repeat that again, please?
September 11th?
Yes.
How do you think September 11th has changed the USA and the world?
Well, it's made them more aware of what could happen to us and made us more, well, for a while, kinder to each other. I don't know if that still exists now from that sad time, but it's taught us to wake up, I guess, and watch out.
Is the USA in decline?
Oh, it has been for a few years, so they tell me that people have lost their jobs and they not able to buy as much and do as much. So I would say yes to that.
Is USA a great country?
Oh, of course, yes.
What makes it so great?
Well, we're free for one thing, and we can free speech, and we help when we need it, financial help with health and such things as that. If people give their right arm to come to live in America. So we must be much, much better than other countries for that. You know, for people wanting to do that. It's got to be a good country. And we all know it's good. Wouldn't want to live anyplace else.
Yeah. What is the essence of the human condition?
What's that again?
I don't really know what he means, but...
Don't forget that.
All right.
Oh, that's a David?
Yeah, these are all David. Do you believe in life after death?
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
How spiritual are you?
Spiritual in life. I like to go to church. I like the people that go to church better than people that would go to a bar or something. I am not one of those people that preach to other people about spirituality. I try to show the way I feel by deeds, doing things, good things. But there's a lot of things that I wonder about. A lot of things in the Bible, about how it could be true. But I think it's better to have a little religion than not to have any. I don't know if it's going to do any good after we die or not, but it's the way it is.
Is the glass half empty or half full?
It's half full.
What is your favorite food?
All the things that make you fat, like roast beef and strawberry shortcake. I think I wrote that down. Strawberry shortcake, blueberry pie, pumpkin pie. Just all the good things like that.
And then David wants to know, if you could make one change in your life right now, what would it be?
I would get my vision back.
Okay. Okay, these are questions from Richard and Linda. Did the public know that FDR was in a wheelchair while he was alive?
We went through that.
But we weren't recording.
Oh, okay. No. I didn't know. I don't know how old I was, but I was very surprised when they told us. It could have been after he died. It probably was. I don't know. Because he was always sitting in a chair, or if he was standing, there was always somebody with him, to help him if he needed it. He was a good president. 3 years, I think, right?
3 terms.
Yeah, 3 terms. Yes.
Yep. Only president to do 3 terms. After that, they changed it.
Yes.
Well, we kind of went over these. I'm not going to ask you. Linda wanted to know, what did you think of FDR and how did your family experience and survive the Depression? But we already talked about that.
Yes, well, we all liked him because he was going to make the big change, which he did. I mean, people went back to work and all that. So I remember hearing him on the radio the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. I remember that. That was in one of his speeches, trying to calm people down, you know, because that was when the war was coming. We had a war coming then. But anyway, we did. He did improve a lot of the country. I keep forgetting.
What, that you're on tape?
Someone's going to have a big laugh over this. So I had a look.
We already talked about this, but Richard also asked, what do you remember about your trip to Japan to see Richard? You already talked about that, unless you want to talk more.
No, I think I told you everything, how our church helped us so much, and how he helped himself a lot. He was terribly, terribly injured, but he kept a good attitude, and he got through it. So I'm thankful for that.
This is from Linda. Do you enjoy traveling and seeing new things?
Not so much anymore. I used to more, but it's too much stress now. I don't hear too well. So no, I was never a great adventurer. I liked home.
Where have you traveled?
Where have I traveled?
Yes.
Well, I've been to Japan, as I told you, to see Richard. We didn't see much of Japan, but we were there on an army base. It was an army base. Timothy, my second son, was in Greece for, he must have been 3 years, and he was teaching English there. And he invited me to come. And I wanted to go. But I didn't want to go alone because I just didn't want to go alone. So Pat, of course, is ready to go anywhere, as you know. So I said, well, let's see if we can work out something where you can go to. And we did. You must have been, what, 4, 5, 6? That was, I'm trying to think of the year. It was maybe, like, I'm thinking how old the girls were.
I don't even think they were born yet.
What's that?
The girls weren't born.
No, they weren't. They're 20. Christina's 25. She was born maybe 3 years after that. 3 years, we'll say. So, what year was that?
I think you went in like 1983, 1984, something like that.
I think you're right, because I retired from D&L in 83, I think it was, and we went the next year after that, I think, so you're about right. Yes. Anyway, that was a really good, exciting, just to go to Greece and shop in the stores where you get these nice things for $1, like you'll see them all around here, some of my exotic things, that little thing that Noah was always picking up. Oh, this thing.
Yeah, well, they're all over your house now,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you're going to have to do some redecorating.
Well, that everything needs to be dusted, so this will be a good time to do it. That was a very nice trip, but it ended kind of different because the plane we went over on, the company went bankrupt or something. The plane didn't take us back.
Really?
Yes, that was very scary. So we had to stay another day, but we did find that we could go on one of the popular ones. Can't think of it now. The next day we got on another, but we had to pay $100 more than we did from the other one. Anyway, that was a problem getting that money back from the company. We did get it. Finally, I got it back. It was only $500 for each of us to go, and I think I had to pay another $100 for each of us to come back. But I did get that money back, and it was good, and I bet Pat would tell you the same thing. She really enjoyed it, but it was hard for you kids. Your father was taking care of you with somebody else, and another person was helping, I guess. And they mowed here this morning, and that's just a blower that's blowing the stuff around.
Okay. Richard wants to know, which is greater, having 5 kids with college degrees or having 2 great-grandsons?
Well, I couldn't compare those two. I am very proud that I have 5 kids that graduated from college, and they did it mostly on their own. We helped them somewhat, but mostly working and, getting student loans and things. And one of my bragging points is I had 5 kids that all graduated from college, mostly on their own. They never got in trouble with the law, and they never got killed in an automobile accident. They were good kids. That's one of my proudest things about my family.
That's a good thing to be proud of.
Yes.
So, Linda wants to know, do you know much about what your parents' childhoods were like?
No, I don't know anything about either of them. I know one thing about my father. He was like a, what do they call him? He was born very late in life. His mother maybe was 40 or 40 something else, and he was just spoiled. They just loved him too much, everybody in the family, and he was spoiled. I've heard this, and but he turned out to be a good farmer and a good father. I love my father very much, and he just, I was his baby, because I was, the youngest, and he was probably old when I was born, like 45 or 50, maybe even older than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he didn't get married till he was 28 or 30. He worked on Maine, did a lot of woods work, cutting trees down and selling them, floating them down the river. There's a big river that comes all the way down Maine, and that's how they got them to places where they wanted them to go. And he worked on that. What do they call those? Anyway, it's woodsman. That's what he done when he was young, and so he didn't get married till he was. But my mother was younger, and she was a teacher. She taught for a year or so, way back in those days. So, see, I told you it was in the family, kind of. And if I did anything, it would probably be a teacher. There's one thing I'll say here is about my second sister, whose name was Gladys, was a missionary in Africa. She married a preacher. I guess I don't know if he was a preacher when they married, but he turned out to be a minister. And they both went to Africa as missionaries, and they came back, but they both died of colon cancer. And I always wondered if it's something that they ate or did there, Of course, it was maybe just a coincidence that they both died of that. But she was only 62 or 3. She was young when she died. That was Gladys. Very, very lovely person. I missed her a lot. She'd do anything for you. She was one of those kind.
What? This is from Richard. What were your chores as a child?
Oh, I used to help quite a bit around the farm, and I liked it because there was nothing else to do, you know. There was no entertainment. One thing I would bring in the summer when they were haying or something out in the field, I used to bring them cold water to drink, and I used to gather the eggs. I loved that. In the afternoon, there would be maybe 6 or 8 eggs that I could bring in, and you had to be very careful not to drop them or break them in any way. And I remember it was the thing trapping there. Everybody trapped to catch furs, you know. You could sell them maybe, and get money for them. I remember going early in the morning. I can't imagine why I would do such a thing. Get up early in the morning and go and check my traps. I was trying to catch a weasel or a white. They were white, whatever they were, I think. I think it maybe is a weasel that turns white in the winter to match the snow, but they're brown in the summer.
So mink?
Yes, not a mink, a weasel. There was a market for those. I don't remember ever catching any, but I also remember checking the sap pails. They used to tap the maple trees, and you hang a pail on, put a thing in the tree and hang a pail on it and catch the sap. I used to go do that, I remember. And
The maple syrup? Maple syrup?
maple, yeah, we made maple syrup for it. Of course, we just had very small, put it on our stove, and they had big stoves that they used to do it. The ones that, sold it, but we just did it for ourselves. And that was fun. Things like that I liked, because I was outside, and I was, often wondered, you grow up like that. You can't be like everybody. I feel as if I'm not like most other people. I'm a little different, and that may be why, because I was brought up on the farm. But we had these 100 acres with, let's say 2/3 of it was woods, and that's where we get our wood for our stove, the heat, and for the kitchen to cook with. And my mother had this wood stove, and she used to bake good things in the oven. As everybody baked then. You don't go out the store and get a loaf of bread, you make it, And same as cakes. We usually have cake. That's why people think, we must have been hungry. We were never hungry. I don't remember that at all. We had almost everything, except the snacks that you get now, which, who needs them?
What is the favorite characteristic of each of your children?
That's a hard one. I always thought that Richard asked me that, and I said, well, you were kind. I thought Richard was kind. I would never say anything mean about people, and was always kind to me. I think David was always a little aloof. He never talked much. He's not a talker, David. What would you call that? Timmy was the jolly kid. He always was, and he still is. He's a good person and good company. Roger is a little intellectual. Talk about anything you ask him about. I think he's a little probably hard to get along with day after day. There's, who else? Pat is very calm, strong. A good person. Did I leave someone out?
No, you got them all.
Okay.
So why do you think your kids are like that? Why do you think Roger's smart and Richard's so kind?
I don't know. All I can say, they cut it from someone, and that's DNA as far as I know. They could get it from their mother, their father, grandparents, right? I don't know. That makes me, kids that are brought up the same, and they're different, like my sisters, don't like the same things that I like. I like the quiet, common life. My sister Helen, she used to be the kind that would like and be waited on. You know, I remember when I was a teenager, she got me to wash her sweaters. I don't know why I did it now, I don't know, but then I did it because I was helping her, I guess, you know. Where I wouldn't even think of such a thing to ask someone to wash my sweater, you know, or to do stuff like that. But she was a good person, and I miss her a lot too. That's Helen. Gladys was a very kind, sweet person. She's in heaven if anyone ever is. Did I miss someone? I don't think so. I think I got them all.
Okay, just a couple more. I guess this is a funny question. I don't know this story, so you'll have to tell the story of the almond joys that were supposed to be sent to Afghanistan.
Yeah, I had to think about that a little bit. Well, Tim was in Afghanistan.
When was he there?
Excuse me?
When was Tim there?
When? Let's see. He was married before. I don't know if you knew that. And he went over the old Peace Corps. I know the year because I dug out some letters just the other day. He was there in 1987 to 89.
67.
67, okay. 67 to 89.
69.
Did I?
You wrote it here.
Oh,
67
okay.
to 69.
See, if I don't write something down, I don't get it. And her name was Ona. She went to Afghanistan, and they were married there by, I'm trying to think what they call the minister there, something like a mullah. It'll come to me. They were married by somebody there. And it was pretty hard life. They had like a dirt floor in their apartment. And Ona had a party at home before she went there because she knew she was going to get married. She had these beautiful white boudoir slippers and take them over there to a dirt floor. That was hard. Anyway, Tim, they came back together, and she came to visit us with him. But it must have been hard times then because Timmy took him a while to get a job teaching. He had the degree for teaching. But it took him a while, and I guess somehow because they didn't have finances, they divorced. She was a very nice person too. I loved them. And I forgot where we were going on this.
Okay, hang on 1 second. Something's wrong here. This is the last question too. Let's go get the gravestones so we can see when your parents were born alive.